So I wanted to do a quick video just on my likes and dislikes of the DJI Tello quadcopter. So I got this just because everyone's raving about it, so I thought I should have a go. The things that are unique about the Tello versus the other cheap sort of quadcopters is, not that this is that cheap, is that it has the position VPS, visual positioning sensors, which means that it's not a camera, it's like a sensor like you would find in a computer mouse. So it can tell if it's moving, and it can then correct for that. So it can hold, as long as there's some texture underneath it, it can hold its position more or less. Now, none of the other little quadcopters can do this. None of them have GPS. So none of them, if there's any wind at all, they will just blow along with it. So this has that, which is clever. The other things I like about it are it's got a decent removable battery, so the flight time is, I think they say 12 or 13 minutes, and it's pretty good, which is way better than the other little quadcopters. And that you can connect it to this GameSir controller. So this is it's not made by DJI or Ryzo, who seem to be the makers of the Tello. So I believe Ryzo make it, and DJI, I believe, supply presumably the sensors and some of the firmware and controllers. So it's made by a different company, but it's dedicated, I think, to this. So the way this works is when you fly the Tello, you connect it to Wi-Fi to your phone. So you just have to power it up, and then on your phone, you connect to the Tello Wi-Fi, and that will connect. Then you start the Tello app, which then will show you the camera view, so you can see what the camera sees. And it's got these little controllers which I would never use. So then you turn on your GameSir remote, which has got a very clever little clip in it to hold your phone, so you can just pull that up and clip the phone into it, which works really nicely. So then the GameSir is flashing blue, which means it's connecting to Bluetooth. So then you have to go, you can't connect to your Bluetooth menu on your phone, you have to go into the app, and then you do controller settings, and it will see the GameSir remote, and then you have to click on disconnected, and then it will change to connected, and then you're ready to fly. So the controller has got some extra buttons. So if you do a game controller diagram, you can see there's a little picture that shows you what the different combinations you can do. So you can take off by holding down the back, this button here, R2, and the Y. And you can do obviously fly with this, and then you've got a video record button up here, and you've got a stills button up here, so which is really nice. So yeah, so once that's going, if I just turn it around there, I can take off. It'll automatically take off to about 4 or 5 feet up, and if I bring it down, it will hold it. Oh no, not on land. It will hold its position really well. Now I've got a fan set up here, and if I turn this fan on, then you can see that fan is now blowing, and the quadcopter will start making revving up noises because it's fighting the wind, but it's holding its position really well. And if I turn the fan off, it'll again, it calms down, but it's staying in position, which is the really clever bit. It's also stabilizing the video. So if I push record on the video, okay, so now it's recording video, and if I turn the fan on again, you can see that it's adjusting its position to hold steady with the fan running, but the video is being smoothed out pretty well. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. And I turn the fan off and it calms down again. Yeah, and if I bring that down on hand. So yeah, so I think that's very impressive really, considering this is a small device. So I really like the way it flies. I like the fact that it's got a proper controller. I like the fact that it's got the image stabilization. You can fly in low speed mode, and the image will stabilize, tilt forward and backward really well. If you go into the high speed mode, then it can't keep up, but it zooms around better, so that's nice. The negatives, as it comes, all you get is the quadcopter and one battery. You don't even get a USB lead to charge it. You need to supply your own micro USB, and you charge the battery inside the quadcopter body, which I don't like doing. I prefer to have separate chargers. So I was glad to see that there is a separate charger, which I didn't realise was actually an official product. I thought it was an aftermarket item, but when I ordered it, it did come in a proper branded Tello case with DJI and Rise on the back. So it's an official product. That was £12.99, which I thought was a bit excessive for what is a pretty simple charger, but it's actually intelligent in that when you plug in multiple batteries, it will detect which one is the highest charged and charge that one first, and when that's full, it will charge the second. Now, to my mind, for these 1S simple lipos, that's completely unnecessary. These should just be connected in parallel. You should just plug them in and they should just charge in parallel. There'd be no issue with that. It would take the same amount of time. The batteries, I got a second battery at the same time, mainly just to get free postage, and they are £20 each, which is absolutely horrendous. So that really brings me on to the thing I don't like about the Tello, which is its price. So yeah, the Tello is £100. The controller is another 20 or 30. I got a bundle with the controller and the Tello for 118. Then the charger is £12.99, which I think is essential. The extra battery is £20, which you may or may not want, but if you do, that's a crazy price for something that costs a couple of quid. You know, really that should be, you know, £8, something like that. The charger should be included with the Tello in the UK for £100. For $100, you know, I can see maybe they have to cut the corners, but for the UK price of £100, they should definitely throw in this charger. I got a nice case as well, so I found this just a cheap case on eBay which fits the everything in really nicely. So it's got the slots for the battery. So yeah, again, I think that's a really nice little case that just folds up. You can zip it up. It comes with a little shoulder strap. It just means you've got a nice little bag. So that's a lovely little setup, but when you add up the price, you've got £118 for the quad and the controller. You've got the case was, I think, £12. The charger was £12. The battery is £20. So you're really up to £162. And that's just a crazy amount of money, really. So who's it for? So I would say if you're thinking of getting something bigger, your first DJI camera quadcopter, I think this is actually probably worth getting first. I always recommend people get just something little and cheap just to crash around the house to learn the controls, because all the quadcopters have the same controls, basically height or throttle on the left, and then rudder or yaw, and then forward and backward, left and right, so you can control it left and right, forward and backward. So they're all the same. So if you can learn to fly one of the little cheap ones, normally I recommend like a Hubsan X4, which is about £25, then you can then fly anything. So from that point of view, I think this is a good thing to buy. It's light, it comes with the prop guards. I've banged it into things and it's survived really well. It's a nice sort of quality made product. So yeah, all those things are good. For practicing taking pictures and video, I think it's ideal. The main issue with the video and the stills is there is no onboard storage. So it records to your mobile device, your phone or your Android or your iPhone, which means that the video especially will chop and break up, because any radio link issues with the Wi-Fi, even just a little tiny glitch, which even if you're in an open field you will get, the video is choppy. So that's annoying. The pictures are fine. The quality isn't brilliant, but it's perfectly adequate. So I think just to try out to see what things look like, if you're thinking about getting something more expensive, rather than spend, you know, several £100s, possibly thousands, to spend this first, I think is a good investment. And it's a bit of fun, so the kids can play with it and things like that. So I just think it is overpriced for what it is. I think if they improve the bundle a bit with the charger, then I think that would be fair. So yeah, it's not a bad review, but just hope that's useful information.